Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that number comes directly to me first. Hey, you know something? I think we're celebrating today. We got a lot to celebrate today. Of course, it's May the 4th be with you. And no, I am not going to sing because that would be scary to anybody. I like that graphic, Josh. You got the beams coming out and the whole bit. And I guess what do they call it at Disneyland now? It's Galaxy World or something like that. You don't call it Galaxy Land. It's not Galaxy Land. There's Galaxy something or another. And I of course I would get it wrong. Galaxy Edge. Thank you, Josh. So it's Galaxy Edge. And, you know, there's some interesting rides there. Right? That nice place to go. And you know, having beaten anorexia, what did I find there? There's a restaurant in a grotto area there. That was really, really good. I enjoyed that. So, but you know, today is also National Candied Orange Peel Day. I don't know what you do with that, but I guess you could put it in a drink of some sort. But it's also National Orange Juice Day. Now, I understand orange juice. Now, I don't know about you, but do you find orange juice to be a little acidic? How do you solve that problem? Well, put a little vodka in it. Now, that's how you can handle that one. And I would say, yeah.
It is what it is.
It's a National Orange Juice Day today as well. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing this morning. Again, if you're listening to us live as we record this each and every business day morning, 9 a.m. here on the Pacific Coast. So, yeah, I know there's some of you that are listening to us live on ABC News and Talk between the 6 and 7 p.m. hour. So but we do record the show, and you can catch us on any of our socials in the morning. But the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 442 points. The NASDAQ is down 119. The S&P 500 is down 35. Oil is up $3.58 per barrel. $3.45 a barrel right now. Yeah, do we want to even look at it? Gasoline prices. Gavin's Gas, $6.11 is our average across the state of Gavin Newsom, California. $4.46 is the national average. Moving on up. We need. There's another song for us, Josh. Moving on up. Okay, so we've got it going up. We've got $5 over there in Nevada, Josh, give or take, right around that area. Thanks, Gavin. And you listen to him. He wants to do the rest of the country what he's done to California. Oh, I got a bad feeling about that one for sure. But
I got a bad feeling about this.
You know, we do lead the country at the highest gas prices in the country. Think about that. We're even 50 cents a gallon higher than they are in Hawaii. And I read an article that we may have a serious problem here in California because we get our gas from Iraq, which most people may have heard that. You know, we have to ship it in. because we don't want to use our own. We don't want to deal with our environment, but we can ship it halfway around the world to get it here. Well, if you might have heard, there's no ships coming from the Middle East. Well, I think there's one ship left of 2 million barrels of oil is about all that we've got in gasoline here in California. Do you think Gavin's doing anything about helping that out proactively? Yeah, you know better.
You know better than that.
Yeah, Gavin's probably still asleep. Or maybe he's over having dinner at the French Laundry. Yes, he is the one. The 10-year Treasury is up 7 basis points right now. That's a lot. 445 is that one. I was on a call earlier this morning. The next place that we've got any resistance goes back quite a ways. 4.53% is the next resistance level on that 10-year Treasury. And we're looking at the mortgage bond down 32 basis points right now. That's the 5.5 coupon. Remember, that bond goes down, interest rates go up, so that's not a good sign. UAE says it intercepted Iranian missiles for the first time since the ceasefire began. So, yeah, you're thinking about what Iran is up to. That's not a good sign right there, that the UAE is intercepting missiles over there. So how much patience does our president have? You know, I'm just throwing that out there. Not that I want to see war, not that I want to see people harmed, but you can't trust them in Iran. Now, the people of Iran, good people. I got friends from Iran. But you're dealing with the Revolutionary Guard, not good people. And you wonder how long the president's going to put up with this garbage from them. And watch our gas prices, our oil going up. And, you know, that's not the main issue there. The main issue is obviously we don't want them to have the nuclear capabilities. You know, they already shot a missile that was longer range than they claim to have even had. So it was heading towards Diego Garcia, 2,500 miles away, which means they can hit London, Paris. Yet London doesn't care because they're not interested in sending us any help over there in the Strait. Wonder what happened. Well, you know, we did get some bad news this weekend. We got news that Spirit Airlines shut down. Now, just throwing this out there, Europe is about running out of jet fuel, so maybe they can get some of the jet fuel that Spirit Airlines had, and you know, maybe some of the Spirit creditors can catch some of that money back. Just throwing that out there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Got a great broadcast for you today. 4 ways to give your offer an edge this spring. That's real estate. 23% student loan rates. They're coming for grad students. We'll tell you why, and we'll tell you who's going to be affected. The strange reason your best tax year is also your worst mortgage year. Got that one for you. And from tracking the wrong number to building real wealth without a bigger paycheck. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR, only the number you put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. Don't have a mortgage calculator? Get one. It's free. rsrlinks.com/calculators. rsrlinks.com/calculators. There's over 70 different calculators in there for your financial pleasure. Rates Friday, 6-point conventional 30-year fix, 6.313 flat. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.466. That was up. FHA 30-year fix, 6.136. That was up. VA 30-year fix, 5.935. That was up. And the USDA 30-year fix, 5.922. That was down. And based on where the market is right now, they're going to get worse for tomorrow. Now, you want our thoughts about the market each and every business day morning? So rsrlinks.com/HBOD. That's the Ron Siegel Radio community. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. What are the markets doing right now? S&P 500 down 44. The 10-year Treasury now up 8 basis points. And the mortgage bond is down 31 basis points. Bond down, rates up. Not good news. Why is this happening? Well, got to do with oil. Oil prices a bit higher, still trading above $100 a barrel right now as we're broadcasting. 105.49. We look at the West Texas Intermediate because that's what we deal with mostly in the United States. So there is Brent, which is even higher than that. That's what's dealt with around the world more. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that the Treasury has been instructed to implement economic fury on Iran. That includes tracking and freezing offshore assets to apply additional financial pressure on Iran. The Strait of Hormuz is blocked, which is causing Iran to run out of storage for oil. Bessent estimates that they will run out of storage and have to start shutting down rigs as soon as the next week. Days, not weeks or months. As we have gone over before, it's not like turning off a light switch. There can be permanent damage to the oil fields. They can take months to turn back on, and it's very costly. Bessent sees oil prices coming down when looking at future prices, but others have opposing views. The Financial Times and other analysts believe that oil prices should come down once the conflict is over, but remain at elevated levels for an extended period. ExxonMobil said something similar. They think that the price market has been insulated from the war to a degree because of strategic releases and deliveries already being made. But the full disruption has not been fully realized and will eventually, if this goes on. They think that it will take time for things to get back to normal once the conflict subsides. Do you think that's just pushing their own narrative at ExxonMobil? Take a look at what their earnings numbers have looked like. Yeah. Camden Properties reported that new rental prices are low, with renters paying 19% of their income towards rent. Renewal rents are in the mid 3% range. They also said that new supply is down 50% from its peak. This means that vacancies will eventually tighten up, and with less supply, there will be some pressure to rental prices in the future. But we know how long that takes to show up in the inflation figures with the lags. We believe there is still going to be downward pressure on inflation from rents for quite some time. Realtor.com released their listing data showing that active listings are up 6% in April. It's normal to see a ramp up during this time of year. And while listings are up 4.5% year over year, the increases and recovery in supply has been decelerating. Days on market has fallen from 57 to 52, a little higher than 50 at this time last year. Got a big week for news this week. Tomorrow, we're going to get the JOLTS and new home sales. Wednesday, ADP employment report. Thursday gets the Challenger job cuts and jobless claims. And then on Friday, we get the biggie, the BLS jobs report, expecting 60,000 jobs. I'm going to say that there's going to be more jobs are going to be coming in than that 60,000. Just my prediction, throwing it out there for you. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Mortgage 101 today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/keysteps, rsrlinks.com/keysteps. The strange reason your best tax year is also your worst mortgage year. Here's a strange truth about being self-employed. The better you are at taxes, the worse you look at to a mortgage lender. Think about that for a second. The same person who is winning April is losing in June when they try to buy a house. Same income, same person, same business, different game. And almost nobody is telling them this is happening. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. And today, I want to talk to the people who built something. The shop owners, the contractors, the consultants, the realtors, the 1120 filers who write off everything they're legally allowed to write off. And if that's you, this story is for you. Here's something I say on our show quite frequently. There is one U.S. tax code, but there are two systems running inside it. One for the informed and one for the uninformed. Same code, same rules, same forms, two completely different outcomes depending on which side of that line you stand on. It's two games played with the same number. Game one is called Pay Less to the IRS. You play it once a year with your CPA. The goal is to make your net income look as small as possible. Mileage, equipment, home office, meals, payroll, retirement contributions. Every line item is a tool. The lower the bottom number, the better you played. Game two is called Qualify for a Mortgage. You play that game when you want to buy a house. The lender asks for the same tax return. They look at the same bottom number, and they decide based on that one tiny number how much house you can afford. You can see the problem, right? The informed know how to play both. The uninformed only know game one. They win in April, lose in June. And nobody tells them why. That's the whole point of this story, this episode, to move you from one side of that line to the other. Let me make this concrete. A business owner walks into my office. Top line on the 1120, gross receipts, $500,000, real money, real business. After the CPA does their job, the bottom line, the taxable income looks closer to 50 grand. The owner saved a fortune in taxes. Smart. That is exactly what a good CPA is supposed to do. Now they want to buy a house. Conventional lender pulls the return, looks at 50 grand, says, we can get you approved for about $300,000. And the borrower has $500,000 in revenue, and they're being told they can buy a starter condo. That is the trap. The quiet solution. Here's what most lenders won't tell you. There is a different program for this exact person. It's called a CPA gross receipts loan. And it does not look at the bottom of your tax return. It looks at the top. The math is straightforward. Your CPA writes one letter on their letterhead. The letter states your gross receipts from line 1A. They state your ownership percentage. They sign their PTIN. That's the document. We take the gross receipts. We apply a standard expense factor of 50%. We divide by 12. That's your monthly qualifying income. $500,000 in gross receipts becomes about $20,000 a month in qualifying income. Suddenly, the same business owner who couldn't get a starter condo is buying the house they actually wanted. No tax returns submitted, no transcripts, no 4506C, one letter, a couple of months bank statements, done. Who is this for? This loan exists for a specific tribe of people. If you're listening and any of these sound like you, pay attention. You own a business and your CPA is good at their job. You're a realtor with a great commission year that looks thin on, say, Schedule C. You're a 1099 contractor who pays quarterly taxes and writes off everything legitimate. You're an 1120C corporation owner with a healthy company and a tax return that on paper makes you look broke. You're not broke. You're strategically minimized. There is a difference. The bigger idea, here's what I want you to take from this episode. Whether you're self-employed or not, eligibility is not suitability. Most lenders are eligibility shops. They check the boxes. If your file fits in the box, they say yes. If it doesn't, they say no. They are not asking whether the loan is right for you. They're asking only whether you fit the box. A certified liability advisor asks a different question. Not can this person get a loan? We ask, what is the right tool for this person, given everything we know about how they make money, how they manage debt, and where they want to be in 5 years? That's why strategy beats rate, always. Rate is a number. Strategy is a plan. If you are self-employed or you know somebody who is and they have been told no by a conventional lender, do this one thing. Go to rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. That's rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. We look at the gross receipts loan, we bank statement loan, and every other tool we have, and we'll tell you the truth about what actually qualify for. No pressure, no sales pitch, just a real answer. Or call us directly at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Here's the last thought I want to leave you with. Your CPA is not your enemy. Your tax strategy is not your enemy. The system is just two games played with the same number, and most people only know how to play them one way. I help people play both. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, 4 ways to give your offer an edge this spring. 23% student loan rates are coming. Most families have no plan. They have no idea it's on the way. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. 4 ways to give your offer an edge this spring. We're talking real estate. Looking to buy a home this season? Here's what you should know. Buyers have more leverage today than they've had in years. There are more homes to choose from, and in many areas, sellers are more open to negotiation. But that doesn't mean competition is gone completely. These days, it varies a lot depending on where you're hoping to move. If you're buying in a popular neighborhood or in a market where there aren't many homes for sale, you may still find yourself competing with another buyer. And that's especially true in the spring. Here's how to stay one step ahead of any competition this season. According to experts at Zillow and Realtor.com, spring is one of the busiest times of year to buy a home. That's because many buyers want to move now so they can settle in before the next school year. And when more buyers enter the market, competition naturally picks up. So depending on where you're buying, you may still need to move quickly and make a strong offer, even though the market overall has moderated. And that's especially true if you find a home you really love. This is what you need to know to make your offer stand out. Number 1, lead with a strong, realistic offer. It's tempting to start low and negotiate up. And in some markets, that strategy can work. But if the home is priced well and getting attention, lowballing could hurt your chances. Instead, focus on making an offer that reflects your local market. As Bankrate explains, quote, "There is no magic formula for an optimal offer. Any offer will be heavily dependent on asking price and local market conditions. Your real estate agent will know the local market well and can advise what a competitive but fair offer will look like in your area, unquote. The goal is to make an offer that makes sense for you and stands out to the seller. Number 2, have a plan for competing offers. If you've fallen in love with a home, it's important to have a plan in case there's competition from another buyer. One strategy your agent may discuss with you is an escalation clause, which Investopedia explains like this, quote, an escalation clause is a way to automatically escalate your bid by a certain dollar amount up to a certain ceiling to compete with other bids, unquote. The key is knowing your budget and sticking to it. You don't want to lose out over a small difference, and this can help prevent that, but you also don't want to overpay. Keep in mind that if the appraisal comes in lower than your offer, you may have to make up the difference out of pocket. Your agent can help you weigh those risks and determine the best approach for your situation. Number 3, keep your offer clean. Price matters, but sellers also look closely at your offer's terms. In some cases, a simpler, cleaner offer can stand out, even if it's not the highest. As Redfin says, quote, sellers tend to want clean, straightforward offers with minimal strings attached. Keep your request simple and focus on the essentials, unquote. Your agent can help you prioritize what matters so you're not giving up things you need while still making your offer as appealing as possible. Think about the idea of our buy down program, rsrlinks.com/buydown, rsrlinks.com/buydown. Make a full price offer and then ask the seller to give you 3, 4, 5% in concessions to help with payment assistance. Simple way, very clean, and they love seeing that full price offer on the top line. Does the seller need know what the seller needs? Does the seller need extra time to move out? Or do they want to move as soon as possible? Your agent can talk with the seller's agent to find out what matters most. Flexibility here can make a big difference in how your offer is received. Bottom line, today's market may be balancing out, but stronger offers still matter, especially during the busy spring season. Curious how competitive things are and what it takes to win in our market? Give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, and we'll talk about that. Hey, and remember, we can give you all the stats on your marketplace, rsrlinks.com/market report, rsrlinks.com/market report, and that'll give you the stats for your neighborhood or your zip code, I guess, 92807, 92808, 921-710, 91709. You just get the information right there at rsrlinks.com/market report. And let's see, Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. There are 2 economies in America right now, the one you read about and the one you're actually living in. Most folks are tracking the wrong one, and it's costing them. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's what just landed on my desk. The Kiplinger letter, dated April 30th. Consumer sentiment in this country just hit the lowest level since 1960. Ow! Yeah, that's the lowest since they started tracking it. 66 years of data, we're at the bottom. But here's the strange part. Consumer spending went up 0.7% in March and up 0.7% the month before that. So Americans say they feel terrible, and then they go spend like it's fine. What's going on? 2 different Americas. That's what's going on. The top of the income ladder is doing great. The stock market is up. The portfolios are fat. They are spending. The bottom and middle of the economy ladder, or the bottom and the middle of the income ladder, are getting squeezed. Hiring is slow. Wages are not keeping up with prices. Their savings rate just dropped to 4%. The normal level is 5.5%. So they're burning through reserves to keep the same lifestyle. That is a K. The top line going up, the bottom line going down, and most financial advice does not account for which line you're on. Now layer in what's happening with rates. The Fed left rates alone last week. Powell is out May 15th. Kevin Warsh is in. Inflation is sitting at 3%. If oil stays where it is, it climbs to 4%. Crude is trading near or over $100 a barrel because of the Iran situation. The 10-year Treasury, which drives mortgage rates, is up, not crashing, creeping. So if you're sitting around waiting for rates to drop before you make a move, you might be waiting a long time. Here's what nobody on the news is telling you. Rate is a number. Strategy is a system. In a year like this one, the system wins every time. Let me give you an example. 2 families, same income, same house, same mortgage rate. One family has a plan for their household blended interest rate. They know what their mortgage costs. They know what their car loan costs. They know what their credit cards cost. They know the weighted average across all of it. The other family just looks at their mortgage rate and feels good or bad about it. In a flat year, they look about the same. In a year like 2026, with prices rising and savings draining, the family with the plan keeps building. The family without one starts slipping. Same income, same house, different scoreboard. This is what I do. I am not a loan officer chasing the lowest rate. I am a certified liability advisor. I look at your whole picture, your mortgage, your other debts, your savings, your liquidity, your goals. And then I help you build a plan that protects you no matter which line of the K you're on. Here's something else from this same Kiplinger report. Walmart CEO just told investors he expects 25% revenue growth over the next 5 years with no increase in headcount. Meta is doing layoffs. Microsoft is doing layoffs. They're all pouring money into AI instead. That tells you something. The job market is going to keep tightening for a lot of households. Promotions will be slower. Raises will be smaller. And the families who got squeezed in 2025 are probably going to feel more of the same in 2026 and 2027. So what does this mean for you? It means you cannot outrun this with a bigger paycheck. You have to outrun it with a better strategy. Liquidity matters more than ever. Your blended rate matters more than ever. Knowing where every dollar is going matters more than ever. That is the safety, liquidity, and return framework I talk about all the time. Safety first, then liquidity, then return. Most people get it backwards. They chase return, ignore liquidity, and have no idea what their safety position even looks like. If you do not know your household blended interest rate right now, off the top of your head, if you do not have a plan, you have a hope. And hope is not a strategy when a consumer sentiment is at a 66-year low. Here's what I want you to do. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. It walks you through the first moves to build a real budget and a real strategy around your debt. Not a rate quote, a plan. Or pick up the phone and call me, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. We'll do it together over Zoom. No pressure, no pitch, just clarity. The two Americas that are going to keep diverging. The question is, which side you are going to be on. Strategy beats rate always. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com. GetHomeSelect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, 23% student loan rates are coming. Are you aware of it? Do you know why and for whom? You better listen in. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference in the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I'll be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. If you have a kid heading to grad school or a grandkid you might want to help, the rules just changed. And the change is going to land on a lot of kitchen tables this summer with a financial aid letter that does not say what the families think it says. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's what happened. The federal Grad Plus loan program is going away. Starting July 1, graduate students can borrow up to $20,500 a year from the government for most degrees, up to $50,000 a year if they're in a professional program like law or dental school. That's it. That is the federal cap. Now, tuition did not get the memo. Tuition did not drop by 20 cents, which means the gap between what school costs and what the federal government will lend has to come from somewhere, and the experts are saying the private student loan market is about to double. So what does this mean for you? It means more families are going to walk into a private lender's office or click through a website looking for the rest of the money, and here's what they are going to find. Private student loans are credit underwritten. That's a fancy way of saying the lender looks at your credit score and your income before they say yes. Most of them want a credit score of 670 or higher. Most of them want at least $35,000 a year in income. Now think about who is taking out a student loan. Often it's a 22-year-old who just finished undergrad. The average credit score for somebody in their 20s is 662. They're already below the line. If you do not know your score or your kid does not know theirs, that's the first conversation to have. Go to rsrlinks.com/FICO. That's rsrlinks.com/FICO and find out where you stand before a lender tells you. Because a 50-point jump can be the difference between a 12% rate and a 22% rate, and that is real money. So what do most private lenders do when somebody comes up short? They ask for a cosigner, and that cosigner is usually mom and dad, sometimes grandma and grandpa. Here's where I need you to lean in for a second. I have seen this story play out more times than I can count. A parent cosigns because they want to help. They think it's a formality. They sign the paperwork and they go on with their life. Then 5 years later, the kid hits a rough patch, misses a few payments, and suddenly the lender is calling the parent, not the kid. The parent. Because legally, a cosigner is just as responsible as the borrower. And it gets worse. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau looked at private student lenders a few years back and found that 90% of cosigner release applications were denied. 90%. So if you're thinking, well, I'll just sign now and get off the loan later, the data says that almost never happens. Now, here's the part nobody talks about at the kitchen table. If a grandparent in their 70s co-signs a 15-year private student loan, they have just taken on an obligation that may outlive their working income. If the loan defaults, the lender can come after their wages, their tax returns, and in some states, even their Social Security can be at risk. That is retirement income in the crosshairs. And federal student loans die with the borrower. Private student loans, in many cases, do not. They become a claim against the estate, which means the money you wanted to leave to your family can get eaten up paying off a school loan. And the rates? Federal student loans right now are sitting somewhere between 6.39% and 8.94% fixed. Private student loans can run as high as 23%. Ow! Many of them are variable, which means they go up when rates go up. We saw that in 2022 and 2023. Borrowers started at 3% during COVID, were paying double-digit rates 2 years later. They could not keep up. So what does all of this have to do with strategic debt management? Everything. Because this is exactly the kind of decision where strategy beats rate every time. The question is not what is the lowest rate I can find on a private student loan. The question is, what is the smartest way for our family to fund this education without putting our retirement, our liquidity, or our estate at risk? That is a different conversation. It is a conversation most families never have because they go straight from the financial aid letter to signing on the dotted line. I had a couple sit with me on a Zoom recently. Their daughter was getting into great school. They were ready to co-sign anything. And we just paused. We looked at their full picture, their household blended interest rate, their liquidity, their retirement timeline, their estate plan. And we built a plan, not a loan, a plan where the education got funded, the daughter had skin in the game, and mom and dad's retirement stayed protected. That is what planning looks like. So if you're going in this season, if you have a kid or a grandkid heading into grad school in the next year or two, do not wait until the financial aid letter shows up in the mail. Get ahead of it. Understand what you are signing before you sign it. Know what the co-signer trap looks like. Know what your alternatives are. Know what it does to your liquidity and your long-term wealth. Go to rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. It is the planning resource built for exactly this kind of decision. We'll walk through your situation, your goals, and the smart next steps for your family before you even ever sign a piece of paper. Because the worst time to make a financial decision is when the deadline is staring at you. I am Ron Siegel, your Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening. So, thanks for listening to the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. So, what other solutions are there, being that we're talking about these solutions here? Well, obviously, the Wealth Builder loan is one of the great solutions. And I share that with you all the time. In fact, we're going to be doing a series on the Wealth Builder to get into it before you retire. Yeah, get into the Wealth Builder before you retire. And I don't care what your interest rate is. Why do I say that? Well, because I helped a family with a 2.875% interest rate, and they're almost got their loan almost paid off now. Why? Because the Wealth Builder loans helps with that. You take all of the money that you have available, your liquidity, and stick it into the loans. You're not paying interest, right? You have an emergency fund sitting there for an emergency. Now, what if you can put that against your loan and then draw it back out tomorrow if you need it? Not to go buy a new boat, not to buy a new Sea-Doo or go on vacation, unless it is your savings plan to use that to go on vacation, which is a great idea, right? You use that to save money for your vacation. While you're saving, you've got a bonus. You're not paying interest on your home loan. Then when it's time to pay for that vacation, you just write a check and it goes right out of the Wealth Builder and goes right to pay your vacation. Oh, yeah, you put it on your credit card so you get the miles and then pay the credit card bill the next day. So we're not accumulating interest on the credit card bill, but we are saving the interest on your house. What if you have an unexpected repair on your house? You're going to put it on your credit card and pay it off over the next 3 or 4 months. No. Write a check out of your Wealth Builder, and your cash flow over the next 3 or 4 months will help to pay that off even quicker, because you're not paying interest on the credit card. You're saving interest from your mortgage. It's all strategic borrowing. That's what I want you to understand from this segment. It's all about the strategy. And I'm going to say it because you haven't heard it in at least 30 seconds. Strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.